Oh, he was an Avatar.
Hello, everybody. I believe we're live. Welcome. If you are all here, thank you for being here. Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay, we are live. And we're about to talk X-Men, which is probably my favorite up-and-coming subject. Like out of everything, like which sounds weird because we are getting Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, Doom himself by Robert Downey Jr. But when I think about the future of Marvel, I think X-Men. To me, that is the future. I think they're just going to really focus on that for the next saga. And I'm super excited about that. What do y'all think?
I think that it's really important for them to nail this casting, number one, because like you're saying, this is the future. And so many of us, especially us in like the early millennial beginning of whatever generation comes after us, we all grew up on that X-Men cartoon show and really diving into the X-Men. I know myself, I found so much in Storm and in Jean Grey and Kitty Pryde growing up. And that was such an integral part of my comic book journey. And those stories are real. I mean, I think you even said before we went live, we were talking about the Holocaust. I mean, they bring so much of a cultural element into it that anyone can find themselves in the show. So I do think that it's important that they really nail this cast, especially given kind of the mess ups that have happened in prior X-Men. I was like, I was gonna curse, but I was like, it's the beginning of the show. We're not ready for cursing just yet.
You're being very kind with what you're saying there.
Kind. So it's important. And I want to make sure that they nail it on the head. Not that I'm in the room helping, but I hope that they do.
Hey, you don't know that. You could be in the room helping. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they reach out to us all and they're like, you know what? Help us with the X-Men.
I've always thought Rogue should look like me. I know the cartoons. I know the voice actor, but I always thought that a Southern Rogue should look more like me. So maybe I'll be in the room where it happens. Hit him with a few Hamiltons. Who knows?
With a few Hamiltons. That's funny. What's up, everybody? Just want to take a minute to acknowledge everybody. Jazz King, what's up? I always see your comments. Firestar, here as usual. Thank you so much. What is up, everybody? What's going on? Do a flip. That was what somebody said the first time, right?
That they remember that she was going to do a flip. They haven't forgotten.
Yes, exactly. It's still happening, but only once this particular stream gets over 100K views on a video, then I will do a flip. We'll do a flip on camera. You heard it here.
I'm making that a short.
You can definitely see. I think the overall hype for Disney Plus shows specifically kind of died down, and like I found out the other day, Disney Plus lost like 700,000 subscribers, and.
Well, they're not doing original animated shows anymore, Disney Plus. They did a whole, they canceled the Tiana show. They canceled so many of the shows that were supposed to come out, and they're stepping away from original Disney shows. So I don't think that X-Men necessarily is going to be, because that's already started and that's, coming from another show.
Have a season 2 and a season 3 for next.
Right. But they've made a bold statement in canceling a bunch of shows that were supposed to come out. The Okoye show, they can't, honestly, there's a lot of black shows they canceled, but they canceled a bunch of shows that were supposed to come out. And honestly, people are pissed, rightfully so. Well,
we're not getting a Moon Knight one either.
Nope.
But you're talking about cartoon animation though?
I don't know what specifically. I think they just said original. It might just be original animated, but I know that
because I can't imagine they wouldn't be. I can't imagine Disney would say, "Hey, we're not doing original shows in Disney Plus anymore." That would be stupid. Right? That would be really stupid.
Well,
yeah, no, it would be stupid.
Original content, but I think. Go ahead. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, go ahead. But what I was gonna say is, when I streamed for WandaVision and Loki, like we had streams with like 200,000 views.
Right?
And now we stream for Daredevil Born Again and it gets like 7,000 views, which I think is very telling, right? So I just think right now with the Disney Plus shows, they've lost a lot, and I think fans are kind of less interested as well. Not only that, but they've hit us with a lot, right? They've spammed us with a ton. And I actually think that the animated projects are a bad idea because it's just more. And you can say people don't have to watch it, but it still hits you as another new project, and it still fatigues you. You know what I mean?
Takes away the
another
excitement
thing you
for
have to
other
catch up
future
on.
projects. Yeah.
Well, right.
So the report says Disney has abandoned making original long-form content for its streaming service.
Well, long
Yes.
form.
Long
So
form.
what is that
Original
like?
movies.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe original movies are not going to do.
yeah,
But it
Bob
doesn't affect
Iger-
us with the movies because
No, it
Marvel
does not.
Studios puts out movies
Well, yeah.
and Disney puts out their movies, obviously. And well, I was going to say the next one, but not the next one. The one that's being talked about right now, obviously, is Spider-Man 4. We've learned quite a bit about it very recently, but obviously yesterday was the big announcement that Sadie Sink has been cast as somebody in Spider-Man 4. So I'm going to take you
Presumably
through
a redhead.
Yeah, right. Well, okay, so let's talk
be?
about that real quick. Because some people are saying, you know what? She could play Blackcat and she could dye her hair. But why?
I think there was even Gwen Stacy rumors going around, and she could be blonde. You know, like
Okay,
just because there's already a.
But why? The thing with Sadie Sink is she's got that really defining red hair.
Fire red hair too. Like,
right.
It's not even
it's
just
like fire red hair.
It's not like
why
strawberry
would you...
blonde. She's
right.
I think the throw off is that there's already an MJ in that universe. I mean, it's not necessarily
but
a
it's
Mary
not
Jane.
MJ. It's not
right.
exactly.
It's not Mary Jane.
It's not Mary Jane. But like, here, let me.
What if in Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man just gets like 5 girlfriends?
I mean, he does.
I mean,
in the comics, he's got like girls
yeah,
on. He's got so many girls.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a player anyway. So like, let him go crazy with it. I don't care.
He's got all the. He's a spider. He's got all the arms for reasons. All right.
Although I don't really know, with all the stuff we've heard about Spider-Man 4, and obviously the massive 180 direction change where it went from your backstreet Spider-Man's back again, backstreet's back. All right, but like, now we're definitely not heading in that direction. If one thing's for sure is this is not going to be a simple movie. So like, does he really have time to be out there bagging a bunch of chicks? Like, no, not really. The entire world's falling apart.
Matters, but like, how old is Sadie Sink?
23.
She looks a child.
20,
that's
22
crazy. Maybe because I grew up watching her on Stranger Things. She looks.
That's actually a funny point. Millie Bobby Brown just went out about something like that. Like,
I know. Well, that was because people were making fun of the way that she looked on the carpets because she's trying to look more
mature. Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know what's interesting is I was this is not working because I'm really trying to like make her big here, but it's not working. So we're just gonna people know what Sadie Sink looks like. I'll just go ahead and do this.
There it is. There it is.
I'll just go ahead and do this. Well, side topic to your point, anytime I see Millie Bobby Brown, and she's dresses somewhat provocatively sometimes, and I'm like, I see you as a kid. So I like look away or click away or something like that. And I get it when you're young and you're trying to be taken seriously, that sucks to hear. But I mean, I see 11, you know what I mean? That's what I really see. For some reason, 12. I don't see Sadie Sink that way. I actually see her as more mature. But I think a young X-Men cast is kind of what I want. And
so we can grow up with them.
Right, exactly. Because
they're already younger than me.
Well, you want an X-Men team that's going to be around for at least 10 years to me, right? Essentially, we're going to do another Infinity Saga. And yeah, I mean, 2008 to 2019, right? Till Endgame, I want the X-Men to do that. We need a build-up like that. And maybe it starts sooner because if she is playing, here, let me pull this up here. If she is playing Jean Grey, that's the word, that's the woman. If she is playing Jean Grey in Spider-Man 4, I would assume she is the Jean Grey moving forward in the MCU after Secret Wars. But what do y'all think?
Secret Wars, we clean house pretty much, and we can cherry pick what characters we want.
Well, that's the thing. It's gonna be here. I'm gonna
because it's multiversal, and then we end up,
She looked a little younger there.
She looked young there, but I made that with AI. So here I can get better pictures of her, but I wanted pictures of her with Spider-Man.
Right.
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah. But I mean, here, I don't think so. After Secret Wars, it's not like, hey, we're gonna just completely get rid of everything with that was before. They're not just going to do that. Everything's going to continue, but it's kind of like you said, they will get to pick and choose what they want. So the X-Men very well could come before. I'm trying to find like a really good picture of like her fire red hair.
This is a great photo of her fire. This gives me redhead, especially because she's got those freckles.
Well,
she seems, she seems very Jean Grey and naturally so, or very MJ. You know, either way.
So that's the deal, right? Is she gonna be MJ or is she gonna be Jean Grey? Which
I guess the question to answer that question is, do you want her to be in the MCU for a long time or for a little bit of time? Because I don't think there's room for another MJ. I don't think, you know, her and Tom Holland are going to be swinging off into the sunset together at the end of the day. No. So if she's going to be Jean Grey, she's going to be a central character. If she's going to be MJ, it's going to be like, oh, look, a redheaded MJ. How fun. And he's still going to end up with Zendaya. So what's the point? Like, for me, that's just a waste of a character.
Well, that was going to be my whole thing.
People are saying like Firestar in the comment section, and I kind of want that more. I think it's just because I want surprise. I know we talk about this a lot. I think this is a little too forward facing and obvious of like, oh, she's a redhead. She's obviously Jean Grey. So it would be cool if they threw kind of a wrench in it, and not a wrench in, oh, she's Gwen Stacy. I think that's a little too far. But I do think that it would be cool if she played a different character beyond. Like I kind of want the big three, the Wolverine, because we need a new Wolverine now too. We need a new Cyclops and a new Jean Grey. Like it would be nice if we had a little bit more I was going to say Mystique surprise in that.
I want all Mystique. I just want Mystique. All
I only want Mystique. I mean, she could be Mystique for all we know.
She could play pretty cool Mystique. I
think she'd play a
great She would be a bad Mystique.
Okay.
Well, you know, Firestar. She would definitely has the look for Firestar, obviously. But I think back to what Chris said. I think she's pretty big. Like she's a pretty big actress, right? And I feel like she's at that spot right now to where it's like she could be like Chris Evans. Like he was decently popular before, but once he came into the MCU as Captain America, he blew up. And I feel like that's probably what she's looking for. She's gotten really popular from Stranger Things, and she just did like another movie, and I think she's really trying to break out
Odessa on
right, something
Spotlight.
like yeah. So I think she's looking for that huge role that she could play for a while that will really just like make her career. Jean Grey is that. And
I mean 100%, she'll get the paychecks every week with that role.
Well, not even that. She'll get the recognition as an actress for playing it, right? It's and I actually think there's good and bad that comes with that, because if you look at some of the actors from the MCU, some of their movies outside are not very well, like not very good. They're not done very well. You know, I love Chris Evans, but a lot of people say like outside of the MCU, his movies have not done very well. You know,
so is that a good place for her to be then? And now we're getting into the life of an actor. You know, as a fan,
I'm confused about the question here. Because is the question our concern for her as a person, or is it about the
fandom,
the fan base, and the story moving forward? Right. I mean, realistically, as a fan, there is nobody since Avengers Endgame that has taken the mantle of either Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans. Like there's nobody that you can identify
there's no
with Marvel
just big leader anymore. Is that what you're saying? Like there's
not even like a leader.
MCU?
It's like a face of Marvel. Like you see a picture of Robert Downey Jr. on a red carpet, and you're like, oh, I remember when we watched Iron Man. That was awesome. Like that just doesn't exist. And that's not any actor's fault in particular. But you even think back to how Chris Evans, and I'll say like the specific Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. kind of argued over. There was definitely a disagreement as to who was in charge. And there are lines from the movies like, oh, yeah, no, Chris Evans or Steve Rogers is in charge. I just,
there was a whole civil war about that.
Plan all the suits. But it was that kind of divide that almost created the excitement around the two of them. So who is going to do that moving beyond the multiverse saga? Because I think that's one of the big fallacies of the multiverse saga is there's nobody to attach to, like with that vigor. There are people to be excited about. And
well, there would be Tom Holland. I feel like is right now.
It's Spider-Man. Yeah, but like Lugal just said in the chat. To me, it's Tom Holland
for the multiverse saga. But moving beyond that,
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. I think Sadie Sink wants to be that character. And I think if you start young with the X-Men and then you have Scott Summers in there and you show the relationship with her and Cyclops, right? Wolverine's also in there, kind of fawning over her as well. And that's
the scary point. Can we talk about that for half a second? Because I know we've got all these other rumors of Kitty and Cyclops. And I'm so sorry. You have a point.
I was just gonna say thank you to Anthony. He didn't
I
want to slow down the chat.
I was going to stop her as well. I was going to say, hold on right before. Anthony, thanks, man. Appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. Anthony and I are friends in real life.
We'll slow down the conversation for you anytime.
I appreciate that.
Sometimes we need to be slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, because I go on tangents. So
no, it's fine. And I'll just sit here and say thank you to everybody for being here. Super appreciate it.
Yeah,
we do these every week now. Typically they will be Thursdays, I think, is working decently well for everybody. Law's not here today. You couldn't make it. But like I mentioned, sometimes, everybody won't be here. Heck, it might be just two of us one week. You never know. Heck,
maybe one day it'll
just Jasmine one day or Chris.
Oh, don't give Jasmine and Chris the reins together alone. That could be. Maybe that'll be 100,000.
That'll either be a very long one or a very short one.
No, it'll be long. We'll be here till 4 a.m.
If I ever had to leave for some reason, I couldn't make a live stream, and neither could Law, and it was just Jasmine and Chris, I would be afraid to rewatch it after.
3-hour live stream.
Or it's either going to come back to no subscribers or double the subscribers.
Yeah,
right. Put it all on red situations.
Even out.
I have no idea, but anyways, I want to go back to what Jasmine was about to say. Sorry, we're sorry to cut you off. Thank you, Anthony.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. Oh, his little heart there. Just because we've been talking about all these casting rumors, and I think that what people aren't talking about. So say we cast Sadie Sink, that's great and groovy, but what does that mean for the rest? And again, I think about the big three. I think about Jean Grey, Scott Summers, and Wolverine. All three of those, and it makes me so nervous because we're talking about the longevity of this new cast and the X-Men in phase 6 of Marvel, and someone that is so difficult for us to have to recast, especially after Deadpool and Wolverine, would be Hugh Jackman. Like, can we talk about that for a second? Who, how, why? And especially, God, till he's 90. How do we do that?
That's what I was literally about to say. Well, till he's 90. Well, one thing I want to address
with Sadie Sink, who's 3 weeks to 23, like, come on.
Well,
it's legal.
Chris.
It is legal.
Chris.
It's legal.
Look me in the lens right now, Chris. No.
He's not wrong. But
I'm just talking about the laws.
I think so. I've always thought in my head, if Wolverine, or specifically Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, is going to continue to play Wolverine past Secret Wars, he's not going to be like the future Wolverine. He might be in Deadpool and Wolverine and Gambit, right? If they do that movie, which, gosh, I hope they do that movie. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. That would be so good.
More Gambit in my life. I just need me some more Gambit.
Well, they were talking about, like, this is something they were talking about, like another movie, and Gambit is, part of the ride. And I think that would be an amazing movie. What are you going to say, Chris?
I was going to say, almost to Warren's point, and I'll say this and I'll hold my idol because I don't even want to say it necessarily, but where does Deadpool realistically fit moving forward?
Like, I think what
I was simply going to say, maybe it would be cool because we don't know what's going to happen, if the multiverse is going to cease to exist, or if it'll kind of go off and become like an other worlds type thing, like how DC's doing stuff outside the regular world. But what if Deadpool and Wolverine just go traveling the multiverse, getting into adventures with Channing Tatum and stuff like that? Like an outside storyline.
Right. So Eastwood, your comment is exactly what I believe. And Chris, it's basically what you just said as well. I think they will. Eastwood said, I think Hugh and Ryan and Channing are going to be given their own sandbox plan. I totally think so as well. I think they just go do random things in the MCU. Maybe in some movies they pop into like the main timeline and they're like, oh, these are what like these guys are doing on the main thing. We're going to come back to this later. Blah, 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 blah.
I think they almost get that.
Right. I think they almost get one-off things. Almost like,
and I think people keep showing up for Deadpool. Like, I don't think
I think with most constantly in the ending credits, just popping up.
Yeah,
something like Deadpool. Well, you've heard this for a while. Deadpool becomes the new Stan Lee cameos, right? Deadpool is the cameo, and I think that would be funny. Like you're in a movie, and just for like some comedic relief, he's like, "What? Oh, don't mind me. We're filming our Deadpool and Wolverine 52 over here."
That'd be great. I think that would bring some of the original like glory and joy back to some of the lighthearted Marvel jokes, whilst still creating an opportunity to create content with a character who I think his fan base is realistically always coming back to see
forever.
what he's going to do next. He has a character, and that is an opportunity to just continue having that and keeping it whole without letting it like mess up the timeline of the new MCU moving forward.
It's okay.
I don't like Deadpool.
We can only have one or the other.
I don't know what I did.
It's all right. My voice is in the background. This is a ghost.
I have no idea what just happened. I apologize.
Well, while we're on that subject, do you guys have an idea of who you would want to see? Because if we're saying that they're in the sandbox, Deadpool, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, Channing Tatum, if they're all off in their own little sandbox, do you have someone who you'd want for the new Wolverine, or are we just sticking with X2? Are you saying names? What are you saying?
Yeah, what are you saying, Chris?
I've been saying Taron Egerton because I knew where she was going with that question.
Oh.
Taron Egerton. Do I really want Taron? I love him.
You asking, I answered. That was my answer. I don't even have to think about that.
Do I see him as Wolverine though? This is my singing gorilla boy from the Sing movies.
I don't know about that lore,
from
but
the
I know him.
I know he's from Kingsman, but he's in.
Why are we going to reference some weird movie he did? Why can't we reference like the movie he's
reference
known for?
Or Eddie the Eagle.
That one guy
Eddie
from that one
Eagle.
movie at one time.
He's Eddie the Eagle to me.
Eddie the Eagle with Hugh Jackman.
Listen, I love Kingsman, but like when I think of him, I see him as a singing gorilla from that animated movie Sing.
Well, how about from Eddie the Eagle, who his co-star was Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, and Hugh Jackman gave him the endorsement.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Actually loves Taron Egerton.
I
love Taron Egerton. I think he would smash that role. I know a lot of people don't think he would because he usually does like more of a funny, like sarcastic comedy role. But I think he's a serious actor who could play Wolverine properly. That's my belief. And I think he could get jacked and do it. And he's already short. So there you go.
Everybody. I like that.
I do want to say, I want to address this comment. Earl Krypton TV. Shout out to your fans from Endgame. Definitely shout out to all y'all. And if there's any fans from before England. That, shout out to y'all as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody for being here. Talking X-Men today, talking Spider-Man 4, talking about a lot. We're currently talking about who we think the new Wolverine should be. So go ahead and drop your thoughts on who you think it should be in the comments down below. I'm going to go ahead and hit you with mine. Daniel Radcliffe, baby. I think.
Ooh.
Have you guys seen that? Oh gosh, somebody tell me in the chat. Tell me that series he was in where he was like crazy, where he's shirtless and he's like.
This is like a movie, crazy. Wasn't it?
No, it might be. I think it was a series though. But here, let me see if I can print it up as well. Daniel.
My thing is, and I do agree because someone mentioned this in the chat too. Wolverine is canonically 5'5". He's a small guy, and both of the people that you've named are like, aren't they both like 6 foot or like 5'10"?
Right. Yeah. Wolverine's 5'4".
I don't care.
And they did that in the Deadpool and Wolverine. You know what I mean? He
looks ridiculous.
Guns Akimbo. No. It's not Guns Akimbo. I know that show. I know that movie. Yes, but there's one where he's in like a wasteland with his shirt off. Oh, right here. Hold on.
You found it?
Yes. He's in his underwear. I don't know if I can show this. Can I show this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. This is a perfect. Hold on. Everybody chill out. I'm going to save this image so I can show it. This is the perfect. This is the perfect photo for my case for him to play Wolverine. Here it is. Hold on.
You better have a bulge.
Give it to me.
Maybe not. Where the heck is it?
There's
I just saved it. Why isn't it here? Why isn't it here?
I want full hair on the face. Show me.
It's AI.
I can see Sadie Sink and Daniel Radcliffe.
It's not AI. Wait, it didn't save in the spot that I wanted it to save.
I will say I did want Daniel Radcliffe in the Deadpool Wolverine when they were doing all the like multiversal Wolverines. I thought he was gonna pop up.
It won't let me show it for some reason.
Bulge too big. File can't compute.
Nope.
Yeah, it's like blinked out for some reason. I'll figure it out, but discuss.
it just pops up out of nowhere.
While Warren's figuring out Daniel Radcliffe's bulge, I don't think I would pick him for Wolverine. I would definitely not be upset, but I think Wolverine needs to be Wolverine, you know, and Daniel Radcliffe will never be just Wolverine. And I'm going to say it. I think Harry Potter is you know.
That's such a bummer.
Legacy.
That's such a bummer.
But that's how I feel.
That's not true.
I don't think so.
That's
not true. RDJ literally just proved that. This man got 2 legacies in the same empire.
Well, he hasn't proved it yet. Most people think it's a good idea.
Well.
Why is this really not popping up now? What? Can you see him or not? What is happening?
The world isn't ready. That is what's happening.
They do not want this photo to be shown for some reason.
Kevin Feige's
What,
sitting there like,
what is this? Do we see
it's
it
loading.
now?
Ah, there he is.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean,
guess.
look at him.
I need a little more muscle on him, to be honest. Like,
Well, he
even
can bulk up.
even he looks.
I'm not worried about that. Any actor can bulk up. That's
Yeah,
not-
you can
I
bulk it.
guess.
This is a. It doesn't even tell me what this is from.
This was just him in his backyard the other day.
This is just the Thursday afternoon.
This is just him hanging out.
This is him auditioning for Wolverine.
This is a survival thriller, The Jungle or Jungle.
All right, there's 200 people in the
Okay.
chat. I need yes and no only in the chat. Go spam it.
Don't we
Go.
have a poll? Don't we have a poll? That
I
want
want to see yes and no. I want to see
Well-
yes and no. I don't even want a poll.
We do have a poll, but I want to hear. I want to hear who everybody thinks should play Wolverine, whether it's Daniel, whether it's Taryn, or somebody else. His frame is
know.
wrong. He could bulk up.
Oh, anybody. I don't have a problem with that. I don't even have a problem with the size. Like, I care so much less about height and how big their arms and muscles are or their package or any of that. Like, I don't care about
acting.
that. It's about the cadence.
He's an amazing actor.
He's a wonderful actor. I don't disagree with that at all. But I think if we're talking top 3 and like X-Men characters, because that's going to be the face of the MCU moving forward, are we all pretty convinced it's going to be those 3?
I'm not
Or
convinced of
are
anything.
they going to go a different route?
I have
Right,
CinemaCon. Listen, I got CinemaCon in 2 weeks, and I know that there's going to be some drops and some spoilers that will be heard and said at CinemaCon. So I'm going to wait.
So?
They do that every CinemaCon. There's something that's leaked, something that's talked about. So I feel like they might. I don't know. I feel like that's when we might get the full casting.
Damaris Love says Taylor Lautner.
Taylor Lautner. No, he's too busy fighting werewolves.
I just
I can't get behind that
like
one.
he is actually one of those people who I can't picture doing anything but being a werewolf from Twilight, which is
Yeah, he
weird
fucked up.
because I
He fucked
love Robert Pattinson and he's done an amazing job separating himself from his past.
He
life.
has. He's
picked
actually one
good
of the most
projects.
successful. Yeah.
He picked
But he
good
has.
projects and
Yeah.
actively separated himself from
Yeah.
that. Whereas
Yeah.
Taylor Lautner tried to be the next action star, and he picked the worst kind of like.
The movies were bad. The
The
movies,
movies
were
were
bad.
bad,
no,
and
I
then he
don't
gave
agree
up,
with that.
and he gave up. He didn't try anything else. He didn't try to separate himself. He should have gone in the polar opposite direction, like Rob Patz did, and then
Yeah.
slowly make his way back in.
He might be one of the
Yeah.
most successful actors to ever undig the hole they put themselves in with like their big
Mhm.
franchise, I think. Because I don't ever look at him and think, and I actually watched all the Twilights and enjoy the Twilights.
Me
I actually
too,
read
yeah.
most of the books, if not all of them. Like,
Yeah.
I like the Twilight. But when I see Robert Pattinson, I don't think, oh, there's Edward. There
Oh,
are
I
few
No,
actors in
no.
Daniel Radcliffe in his area where you
Yeah.
can't see it. Like, even still, I'm seeing Harry Potter as Wolverine. Like, it's just hard to
Right.
be on that. And
It's
I do
it's
say
hard.
big,
It's hard.
big, big.
Yeah, it is hard, and I mean now he's Batman. That's crazy. That's crazy because that's how I see him now. I actually
As
see him as
Batman.
Bruce Wayne. Not you. I actually see him as Bruce Wayne because what's really funny is his Bruce Wayne to me is his character from Tenet.
Oh, his
Which I
character
love
Tenet's
that movie.
so good.
His character from Tenet is amazing.
Such a cool
And that-
character.
Yeah, when he's dressed up all suave in a suit, that's how I view Bruce Wayne. That's how I view Robert
Mm.
Pattinson's Bruce Wayne. Because like the Bruce Wayne in the Batman, he's like lives in kind of like a gothic castle, and it's like not all super modern and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's cool, but I view him as a better. To be fair, or to be honest, Ben Affleck is my Batman. I freaking love Ben Affleck as Batman. He's the best to me. And I know Christian Bale, blah 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 blah. I get it, and he's amazing too. But to me, Ben Affleck is my Batman. But yes, Robert Pattinson
She praises
separated
her.
himself. He did a great job. I don't know if people will be able to see Daniel Radcliffe as anybody other than Harry Potter.
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
But
But
I'm
you
one
know,
person.
I'm holding my
don't-
thoughts.
I don't know why we should move away from Henry Cavill. And in all honesty, I know he's tall. I know he's just a cameo, but I mean,
He's old.
holy
He's,
crap,
this,
Jared
we're not
Leto.
talking about I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. We're not talking about a cameo. We're talking about the longevity of the MC.
I know.
So you want Henry
Warren's
Cavill?
double downing.
No,
Bruv.
Henry Cavill, not Cavill. I don't know who that is. Is that another person?
Henry Cavill went to high school with my uncle.
That's crazy. Can I just
And-
I just want to make this point before you continue, is that this is such a, and I hate to phrase it this way, but saying that you only see him as as Harry Potter is such a, and I hate because I sound gross and I'm so sorry, but that's a millennial argument because we are just now about to get so all three of us are, but we're about to get a brand new Harry Potter series that for these upcoming generations, they don't know that he's Harry Potter. We do.
So should I base who I want to be Wolverine on how other people perceive the character or how
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that's just how, like, I don't think that him being seen as Harry Potter is a big enough stopping point at this point for him not to be cast, especially because we're about to rewrite the entire history of Harry Potter.
Of Harry Potter. No, I get that. And I wasn't saying that I feel that way. I'm saying I don't know if people will look past it, but I get what you're saying. We are in a new generation now. Real quick, Rob Stoops, Michigan Patriot. Thank you for that super chat. Thank you very much. Radcliffe will always seem like a spoof on whatever character he plays, other than a Harry Potter. I mean, yeah, and see, that's the whole point. That's the whole point.
You don't want us to be right, but I love Daniel Radcliffe. I absolutely adore the guy. I think he's a very genuine person. The only other movie I've ever seen him in where I didn't go, oh, look at Harry trying so hard was The Woman in Black. He did fantastic. If anybody's into horror, The Woman in Black, he's the main character. And it is
coming up. I don't think that's
it's old. It was years ago.
Yeah.
It was like right after Harry Potter, and he went in and it was
did a great job. It was creepy. Yeah.
It was a very jump scares, amazing, compelling story, and he did so well. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's gonna do it. And then nothing since then. Like he was in that movie with Sandra Bullock, and it was like
he was also ridiculous. in a play where he showed his penis.
Well, yeah, I've got that saved right here.
You know what's one of my favorite things about Daniel Radcliffe is the paparazzi waited outside of his, like the exit door to the studio when he's filming like the final Harry Potter movies. Like every day, he wore the exact same outfit in and out every single day, so it would look like they were just taking the same picture over and over every day, and he couldn't use.
He's great, dude. He's intelligent,
dude. I was like, that's so funny to me. I was like, that's so
brilliant.
Clever.
I love that.
It's brilliant. Yeah,
I think in any series since maybe Luke Skywalker has any individual actor on their own had such an impact to a series other than Daniel Radcliffe. Since Luke Skywalker. Like, I don't think any individual really carried an entire ideology of a franchise. That's my opinion of it.
Daryl Dixon, The Walking Dead, but he wasn't even the lead of that.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know that you could even compare him to Daniel Radcliffe. Like, you say Daryl Nixon to most people, they don't even know who you're talking about. Nobody doesn't know who Daniel Radcliffe is.
Daryl Dixon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I see some comments. Earl Krypton, Henry Cavill should be Cyclops. I'm actually okay with that.
Who? I didn't hear what you said.
Cyclops. Henry Cavill. The cavalry.
That'd be kind of cool.
I think he's got a good form. But okay, can we talk about this picture right here of Cyclops? It looks exactly like Channing Tatum. I just want to throw that out there.
That
like it literally
in
the nose. Right. Yeah. I mean, it looks like Channing Tatum.
And even like the shape of the head, like just all that. I think that's a picture of Channing Tatum that someone just.
It might be. Yeah, no, like it looks exactly like him. There's another one from Epiphany, Zac Efron. He was a big talk for a long time. He was a big talk for Adam Warlock and Wolverine for a pretty long time. I also saw from somebody, I think I lost the comment, but I think it was from, I've seen your name in here a few times. Let me find it because I want to give you credit. Sergey, I think it was from Sergey. Scott Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's son.
Oh,
I actually really like
pick.
Him. Yeah, he's let me pull him up real quick because I
don't know how he is as an actor, but he
that's what I was gonna say is all I know. I've seen him a lot. He was in Taylor Swift's music video for Wildest Dreams.
That's his whole acting career.
Yeah, he's been in stuff, but looks wise, I think he could really rock it. He is tall though. He's tall. I can't find like a really good rugged picture of him right now.
Rob, super chat.
Yeah. Oh, let me read the super chat for me because I'm off.
I will. Right, Rob Stoops says, that being said, I didn't expect what I got from a young Professor Xavier. I can't remember where the actor's name. He did that quite well.
What I got from the young.
Are you talking from
this photo
from the Fox world?
I didn't expect what I got from Young First X. Can't remember what the actor's name is. He did that. Yeah, are you talking? I mean, you must be talking about the old. We've only had
James
two Professor
McAvoy?
X's.
Yeah.
Yeah, McAvoy. We've only had two.
Yeah,
Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome. I actually loved that cast for both Magneto and Professor X
Yeah.
for the young.
Are we keeping them too, or do we have to start over again? Are we?
No, I think they're
is this like a
gone.
third? They're gone, so now we need all new.
I think we get cameos in Secret Wars. I think we get cameos in Secret Wars. Oh, this is a
I think we get cameos almost everybody in Secret Wars.
This is a good one right here. Hold on.
Let me see it, Wolverine.
Pull it up.
It's me.
I know it's primarily men in the chat, but
No, I can appreciate a sexy man.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute.
So can I.
On.
I mean,
hold on. Hey, after this though, you got to pull up Beast after this. If you're pulling him up, I want to see Beast next.
We're not talking about Beast yet.
I love Beast. I love him.
So I really do like Scott Eastwood. I don't know if he can be as rugged as Wolverine needs to be. Maybe if you grew out like a beard and stuff.
Scott Summers.
This does feel more Cyclops. It does. Yes. It does seem more Cyclops. Now, okay, you wanted to talk about Beast.
He's 30.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Somebody said he was 38.
There's something.
Scott Eastwood's 38?
Yeah, that's what somebody said. I mean, that's what somebody said. That's wild if he's 38.
Damn.
All right, well let's let Jasmine pop off about her guy here.
I don't even need to pop up because you guys know how I feel about it. But I just because
the chat doesn't know. The chat doesn't know. Tell them all.
They don't.
What are you talking about?
Listen.
Thank you, Dan, for the super chat.
Yes, thank you.
Every
Pat
time
Schwarzenegger
Jasmine
as
talks, they
Cyclops.
throw super chats in.
Hey, what am I think it's because they want me to stop talking. I think that's the reason. It's not because of a good thing.
Why.
Fair enough. No, I love the character of Beast. I love just honestly, and this actor is great. He's going to do a wonderful job if he is cast as it, but just Beast as a character in the whole. One thing that people always forget that he is around the same age as Scott Summers, as Jean Grey, but it has that duality, the issue of I don't look human, I look other,
right,
and yet I'm one of the most intelligent person, like I'm the most smart person in the world, one of them at least,
right.
And I love that. And so every single Beast iteration that we've had, that's the one thing I can say more often than not, they get so right. And they've done that every single time. And so I just get excited, especially with the casting rumors. It makes me feel like we're going to have a very front forward Beast coming through.
Well, real quick to just say something because it's to your point. I actually heard a rumor that Beast is going to be older than most of the other X-Men.
No.
It's a rumor. It's not true, or it's not confirmed or anything like that, right?
Honestly,
also, Anthony says, Jasmine, no, I love your takes. So
really?
And 66VNB says let her cook. So and 66, you were in the stream the other day. Welcome back.
Yes. Thanks,
they also said, "Where's my backflip?"
That too.
Who said
too.
it?
And I just want to take a second to acknowledge Dan from New York. Thank you very much for the super chat. I have this pulled up here for you. Let's dive into this before we dive back into Beast, because we're gonna let Jasmine finish, of course. What do I have to do here? Stop screen, share screen, share screen, share screen, share screen. There we go.
Oof, look at him.
You know, I can see him as Cyclops for sure. Actually, you know what I see him as is the X-Men, the Avengers vs. X-Men Cyclops, how he's depicted there. Let me.
I look like he could low-key be the new Bucky.
He
actually kind of does,
right?
Yeah, he actually kind of does.
They end up going and recasting all of those legacy characters. He could be Bucky.
I'm not gonna see him as Bucky, Captain America. This man has a very universal superhero face.
Yeah, he do kind of be just like.
He do have generic superhero face. This man, yum.
Hello.
I don't know why they're not showing me anywhere just a straight up picture of Cyclops from Avengers vs. X-Men. Oh, here we go. No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. It is the Avengers vs. X-Men. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I could see him as this right here. Let me pull this up. So now, stop screen. Share screen.
Ooh, good Archangel. You're not wrong.
Share screen. Oh,
Someone said Glenn Powell is a great choice for Scott Summers. I'm so done with Glenn Powell. I know he's a great guy. Wow. I just I'm done with Glenn Powell, or what as Glenn Powell as Cyclops.
Yeah. No. Just being done with Glenn Powell. I think he's awesome.
I'm not arguing that. He seems like such a nice guy, but I think in this last year, I feel like I've been shoved Glenn Powell
everywhere.
in the.
No, I get that. I get that.
Everywhere. I'm so done with Glenn Powell, and honestly, Sydney Sweeney too. But only I don't mean that they're not bad actors. I'm done. I need more. I need something else.
Well, Pat Schwarzenegger as Cyclops, I think he does fit this Avengers vs. X-Men depiction of Cyclops. How they drew him here. I think he actually kind of looks like that. I think that could actually work. But now I can't get Channing Tatum as Cyclops because this looks just like him.
You gotta find a different picture of Cyclops, man. I think that's the problem.
This is my Cyclops.
The only picture.
But what would you say if Beast was
older?
Because this guy's, who is this?
He's older. That's Jesse Plemons. He's definitely a much older actor. He's been in the game for quite a while. He's got a great repertoire. He's got a huge filmography of stuff that he's been in. So he's a very seasoned actor, and I think that's going to bring a lot to these younger X-Men characters. And I think we do need something a bit more grounded, especially if we haven't solidified who our Xavier is in this new universe. We haven't solidified who the Magneto is going to be. We don't really know where we're dropping in the timeline. So I do think we need a little maturity and stability, and he would do that lovely. He would do a great job of that. But if we are putting him up there, then then I think that I don't know. He's gone again.
It's okay.
I don't know. It just brings a different vibe to him. At that point, he's going to be more seasoned. He's more with the government, and he's going to have a much more mature role.
Right, and it's more like X3.
Yeah,
the last
it'll
stand,
be more like X3.
So
it'll be
like
the adults versus the kids.
Right. Yeah. Not like, well, X-Men First Class still kind of was like an adults versus kids, but but in First Class he's he's the same age, as Mystique and everything like that.
Yeah.
So there's also the report that I don't remember the actual name that they were saying for this off the top of my head.
For Beast,
a report about an X-Men X Academy. There was a report because what was weird was I just look at all these websites every day and they all blur together to me. So it was either Variety or Deadline that reported Marvel canceled their Strange Academy one, and then a few insiders came out and were like, yeah, Strange Academy was mentioned, but what we actually heard was it was an X Academy. Like we were actually hearing a lot of things about an X Academy. So basically an X-Men Disney Plus show that was actually going to be about the students of Professor Xavier at Xavier's Gifted School for Youngsters, which I'm like, that's dope. Let's do that.
Yeah. So the rumored X Academy TV series in the works at Marvel.
Right.
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
It would be really cool. But in that situation, you do need the older veteran X-Men. You need people there. So so it is basically like the first X-Men film where you had the students, right? But then you had, Storm, who was a professor. You had Scott, who, you had all these older people teaching the younger people. So, but I don't, so I want that to an extent, except Jean, Scott, even Warren, Angel, as most people know him. All of them, I want them in Rogue. I want them to be the students. But with that, obviously, you do need older professors there as well to teach the students. Beast is most likely going to be one of them. We get Professor Xavier, and who else do we think? Even if I don't.
Okoye, Storm. Did you say her already?
Okoye?
Oh, not Okoye. Yes, Aurora. Storm. Sorry. I'm like, have the Storm alive. Just pop in.
Yeah, no, Aurora. Yeah, the Storm. Or do we think she should be younger? Do you want to see her? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, because there's a reason why this show got canceled, and I'm taking us on a slight little.
So you're talking about the Okoye show?
No. I'm talking about this. You said this X-Men show is happening, or it's not happening?
It's going to happen maybe later.
It's not happening until after Doomsday. So
after.
Probably.
Right. Yeah. It's not canceled by anything.
Which has nothing to do with the show, but more about the state of Marvel and trying to get ready.
Right. That's why Marvel. So it basically came out, a couple months ago or whenever it was, and it was like they put a bunch of shows on hold until after Doom and Secret Wars. I mean, which makes sense. You have to hone in on the story right now. You have to. Yeah. They're already playing catch up.
Here's my thing, and I'm going to take us on a slight little. That and how they're gonna do how they're gonna do the X-Men is really gonna depend on how Daredevil ends and what Fisk ends up doing, because it feels like where this show is going, we're getting into the SRA, which will lead us to the MRA, the Superhero Registration Act and the Mutant Registration Act, and so depending on what happens in this show as far as the state of superhumans and whether or not they have to register, it really is going to depend on whether we get this X school, this superhero training school, and where we're dropped into the X-Men, and whether or not we have, a bunch of adults, or if they're just a bunch of kids dealing with this drama that's happening. So I don't know.
But so are you talking about after Secret Wars?
No,
because you're talking Daredevil. So
here's
the thing about Daredevil and the Superhero Registration Act. We had that in Civil War. It's the same thing, right? They changed the names. So I think we could get this again after Secret Wars.
The Sokovia Act, I think
it's the Sokovia Accords, right? The Sokovia Accords is the SRA, right? From the comics. And I think they're more likely going down. What would be really cool to me, because in the Devil's Reign comic, that's where actually most of the story that we're getting in Born Again right now is coming from. It's not actually really coming from the Born Again story. It's coming from the Devil's Reign story, where Kingpin is the mayor, and he makes it illegal to be a vigilante, and the Thunderbolts are his task force, which is awesome. So I'm like, that would be so cool to link that stuff
leaving it all together.
I mean? Right? Yeah, that would be. I don't think they're gonna do that, but that would be cool. But to your point, I don't think we can go back into a Superhero Registration Act on a large scale outside of New York until
something happens.
The next part of the MCU.
Well, I also think the other problem with all of it, the problem with all of it is, what's the relevance? When Doomsday is just going to destroy everything, then we're going to be on Battleworld, and then we're going to undo it all. Yeah. So, like, Fisk could go on and become president of the freaking world if he wants to, but it doesn't matter because it's all getting rebooted anyway. So that's where you run into problems with a lot of these projects and why a lot of them are getting canceled. Because what's the point of making an X Academy right before the entire world's about to end? There's no point.
Right. That's why they pushed them all back. Right. Exactly. But
to the point about, what is Doom going to, like, what is Fisk going to do? It's like, it almost doesn't really matter what Fisk is going to do. Fisk is going to be lucky to show up after this is all. It's a little hard.
It's heartbreaking, especially given how exciting that show has been for us to, like, after every episode, we're like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter in the big scheme, but you're allowed as a fan to enjoy the little moments. It doesn't all have to lead to.
We're getting a season 2, and it matters for season 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? And we can enjoy that.
It's really weird. There is obviously, like, the overall connectivity of everything is awesome, right? That's a big reason why I love the MCU. But like Chris said, we are allowed to enjoy individual stories, as it comes about, and I think actually Daredevil is done perfectly because they give you the connectivity. Like, when I say connectivity, I'm not talking like I need cameos, but like, in Iron Man 2, Phil Coulson's there, and he's like, "Where did you get this?" And it's like Captain America shield duplicate or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's all I need. That's all I need.
Yeah.
There
like,
you're in the same universe. You know what I mean? Like, and then the post-credit scene is, the hammer down. That's what we need. I think. Right? We lost like these little bit of things. So Daredevil's like, we don't need, a guy in a spider suit running around everywhere like that. And everyone goes, Spider-Man.
Or them talking about Jefferson really Morales during the court case.
Yeah. Boom, this is such a deep point, and it won't be credited for the value of it. But that's what we've lost. Everybody, superhero fatigue, and Captain America's dead, and now there's a new one, and I don't like him, and Iron Man's gone. None of that is the problem. The problem is the overall ideology, whether it's from fans or from the people writing and making the movies, which honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. The simple things aren't enough anymore. Like the little helmet in the background on the shelf when somebody's doing an interview, or all the things that weren't just listed. Like, I almost feel like at this point, we need to get rid of post-credit scenes, because that's all movie ends. This great 2.5 hour long movie that people dedicated millions of dollars, time, energy, put their entire lives and souls into it. And all anybody want to talk about is a 30-second post-credit scene and what it might mean. It's like, we're missing the now. We're so excited for Doomsday and what's going to happen after Doomsday that, like, we're missing the Daredevil series, and we're missing all these awesome moments. And that's kind of the poison of the MCU right now. Back when it was Iron Man 2 and Thor 3, like, we were just happy to know that these characters were acting in the same universe.
I disagree. Well, I agree, but I disagree.
I'm like, I have to disagree. I love your passion. I love your passion, and I can see that point, but I don't think that that's it. And I'm gonna let Warren go first because I don't know if we're gonna have the same point.
Well, your point is valid, Chris, but I don't think the post-credit scenes really fall into that much is what and I get what you're saying. Like people like, oh my gosh, post-credit scenes, but I've actually been having this conversation with a few people lately. I think it's Marvel's, like, they're not making amazing movies every time again. And if they did, it wouldn't be about the post-credit scene. But when you have a movie, when you're going into a movie and you think the movie's not going to be that, like, I'm just going to use Captain America Brave New World, because going into it, I thought it was going to be a good movie, not a great movie, not a fantastic movie. And I thought that the post-credit scene was going to hook us up to Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars, right? So I was looking forward to the post-credit scene. That's not what it ended up being. The movie ended up being fine. But if the movie was amazing, then I would have been like, oh yeah, post-credit scene. Let's wait for it. But the problem is Marvel's not producing hit after hit after hit after hit, like 8 out of 10s plus every single time now, right? Like that's just not what it is. So people sometimes are more excited for post-credit scenes. So I disagree with the post-credit scene, but I agree with what you said about the connectivity and everything. Somewhere in phase 4, I think, probably in phase 4, yeah, we did really kind of lose that feeling. And we never needed anything big. We just needed the small little things that show us, hey, everybody does exist in the same world. And you know what? They do come together sometimes every couple of years, every few years for a big Avengers movie. You know what I mean? Like, I do think at some point in time, Marvel started trying to see what worked, and they missed a lot. And they need to get back more to their essence of what they started to do with the Infinity Saga.
Before Jasmine blows everybody's minds, as she always does, my only point to that would be, and I could be completely off base on this one, but Iron Man 3 was 7 out of 10 at best. Thor 1 was not that beloved. Captain America 1 wasn't that loved. Ant-Man wasn't really received amazingly.
I think Captain was, but
Captain 1, maybe. I've heard a lot of people say that it was boring. Right? And that's why I said I could be wrong. My opinion on this could be wrong. The Avengers movies where they came together were always written and created very well, and they did a good job connecting it in that moment. Mm-hmm. But the movie Iron Man didn't connect Iron Man to everything besides a passing phase. So we're interweaving, and then we all come together for this epic moment. And now I feel like the expectation for so many people is in Captain America Brave New World, we need to see freaking Star-Lord because that's what Marvel is. And it's not. That's kind of my point. I don't think Marvel was hitting 10s out of the park.
You're right about that.
So that was kind of my point. And I think we get so beyond.
No, you're right about that.
Why isn't Star-Lord showing up and fighting Red Hulk? It's like, this movie was crap because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I think we've gotten ahead of ourselves. That's my thought.
Well, what's really funny is I
almost Jasmine.
No, I'm there.
Sorry.
I'm ready.
What's good. Really, I just tried to make a new thing to where we're all on screen and it didn't freaking work. What the heck?
Man, StreamYard's being mean to you, Warren.
It doesn't like me. Like, what happens if I press this? What happens if I press this? So how do I put Chris here? I just added him and he's not there. What? What?
Oh, now I'm pretty.
What? What?
This is exciting. This is the clip right here. This is the clip.
I don't know what to do.
Oh, just Warren. Oh, I like that one.
I don't know what to do. I'm sorry, everyone. It literally won't let you.
There he is. This is the stream now.
I can't even do it now. I don't even know what to do. I'm
there
just
we
going
are.
back to this. Sorry.
Maybe you have to stop presenting and then it'll pop up.
Yeah, I'll go back to my last sentence. Anyway, I think that's why Marvel is doing Marvel things.
Wow, they are doing Marvel things.
They're definitely doing Marvel things.
But yeah, my point is there. I think we've lost the plot a little bit on some of these individual movies, and it makes them less enjoyable for people.
I think so. Here we gotta let Jasmine talk, but I'm just gonna say this.
I've been doing so well.
You've been doing so great. I'm so proud of you.
So good. You get a cookie.
Just so the chat knows, I am notorious for interrupting and cutting people off. Like the ADHD is DHing. It's so bad that before we start streaming, they have to be like, Jasmine, you have to let Chris and Law talk. Like they have to set me down. But I just get so excited. I mean, you see it in my interviews. Doesn't matter. you guys have kind of been dancing over the point that I was going to make, and that is, and it's something that we talk about here with the LA film bro and peoples, and I think Greg and Coy kind of summarized it in a most recent Real Rejects video, but it's that the people that are in this chat right now, you and me, the people that are talking about it, the people that make videos about it, we are going to see these films. There we go. Huzzah! We're going to see these films regardless. We are not the target audience. The target audience are the middle of America. It's those people that have to travel the 2 hours to a movie theater. And unfortunately, those aren't the people that are doing what we do. Like you said, spending hours looking at all of these websites and researching all these characters. And like me, I have piles of notes that literally was a blank page, but I've got piles of notes. Look at my notes. I've got piles of notes that I'm compiling from comic books that I'm reading beforehand so that I not only feel knowledgeable, but that I'm educating while I'm on screen. We are not the target audience. And unfortunately, that's who they're making these movies for. And we are so critical. We are so analytical. We're so critical. And if we don't like the points that they make, then the movie is crap. It's trash and it's not good. And so now we are the vocalizers. We're telling the world that it's not good when they should be making movies just for movies' sake, not necessarily for us. I think that's
They should, but what's really interesting is me and Greg talked after that, and I was like, I disagree with y'all completely. Like, I really do. I told him, I was like, no, I really disagree. And I'm not the guy that's like, oh my gosh, like, guys, so much went into all this, like all these individual people, the writers. I'm like, yeah, they're making it for us. So when a bad movie comes out, I go, y'all made a bad movie. That's on y'all. I don't care what we're talking about on YouTube. I don't care what we're talking about on YouTube. If y'all made a bad movie, that's on y'all. If you wrote a bad movie, that's on the studio. They shouldn't be releasing a bad script for a movie.
But I think my point is that they're putting too much emphasis on what's going to make us happy and not enough on just making. That's the difference. Is they're putting too much. Fine.
No, and that's sure. Right.
And that's my difference. No, I wish they would stop, like he's saying, like they're putting too much emphasis on these cutscenes that don't matter, or they're just putting too much emphasis on what the comic people who are already going to see these films are going to enjoy versus entertaining the masses. And generally, when you entertain, you have a good script, you have a good cast, you have a good idea. You put more emphasis on the film itself, not on putting these exciting little tidbits here and there.
But I think with Captain America: Brave New World, they didn't try to do that. They didn't really.
I think they made too many scripts. That's a hard one to. That's exactly. We got to find a different example because there was. I mean, the Brave New World had so much against it.
We'll go to the Marvels. Like, I don't really know who cares a whole lot about Monica Rambeau. And I think she's fine. She's a fine character, and she was in WandaVision. Yeah. I think a lot of people really love Miss Marvel, and I do as well. I've never had a big problem with Captain Marvel. I don't have a problem with Monica by any means, and it looks like her story is about to get really interesting. But that story, it's connected, but it's written very poorly.
Yeah.
Right? So in my mind, I'm just like, that's a good example of what you're talking about. No, exactly. That's what I'm trying to bring up. Like, yes, they did that, but I still put it back on the studio for going, hey, this seems fine. Let's release this. Like,
but why do they say that? I think they say that because they think it's going to appease us. They're like, hey, we did everything that's going to make them happy. Yeah, it's an okay story, but who cares? They're going to see it anyway.
The problem with that is us is still not happy with it. So if that's what they're doing and they still can't even manage that, you know, it's like, at what point is it just a bad movie? Like what Warren's saying.
I think that's what we want. I think we just want a good movie. You know, that's all I care about.
That's all I care about is a great.
Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the most unsuccessful comic runs of Marvel's history. And now they're the beloved characters of James Gunn's mastermind in their own little kind of push-offs. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is like the perfect example. They had so many little Easter eggs, so many little comments, but they existed in their own part of their own edge of the universe as these little space pirates that nobody really knew. Like most people that say, "Oh, I knew about the Guardians of the Galaxy before they came out," are just wrong. Like that you didn't. I'm sorry. Like very few people knew who any of them were. And so you get them in, you stuff them on their pirate ship spacecraft. They go fly around. You see a helmet here, you see a duck there, and you're like, "This is fantastic." There was emotion, there was great writing, there was romance, there was adventure, and it came together as an amazing Marvel trilogy that's a standalone as one of the best Marvel trilogies in the entire storyline. The question is why? Because it's like, oh, everybody loves Spider-Man. That's why Spider-Man does well. Well, nobody knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. but they did so well. Why? Because James Gunn wrote an emotional, well thought out story.
Mm-hmm.
I think once we get into Avengers Doomsday and past that, going into the X-Men, I think it's going to be really good.
I hope so.
I
completely agree.
I don't. So when I say like I'm not the one who thinks about the writers and all that stuff, like don't get me wrong, like I have compassion for them, but at the end of the day,
that's good. I'm glad.
No, I do. I do. I understand that, but they are doing it all for us. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, movies are made for people to watch, and people should be enjoying those movies. And I don't put it on YouTubers if a movie is bad. I put it on the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I think the studios do obviously look at YouTubers and people on Twitter and stuff like that, but again, I do think they realize that this is kind of a out of everyone who's going to go see these movies, right? Not a lot of people are online talking about this every day like we are, right? There's only
we're like the 3% that
well, right. I was going to say, you know, maybe there's a million people, but millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of people go see the movies, right? The casual audiences aren't on this, and even there's even like big Marvel fans who aren't on YouTube and like even on like Instagram, sometimes I'll post something and I'll say something about YouTube, or on YouTube I'll say something about Instagram, and you'll still get a lot of comments that say, oh, I don't have Instagram, or I don't really go on YouTube that much, you know. Like I don't know. It's funny because I did talk to Greg. I was like, yeah, I mean, I do disagree with a lot of what y'all said, especially when it came to the leaks. I was like, I really disagree with y'all when you talk about that.
I'm of two, again, because we talked about it last time. I'm of two heads of it. I don't mind leaks. I think that those leaks were on purpose. I stand by that.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. To say that it loses the integrity of filmmaking to have leaks, I don't agree with that. I don't know.
I don't think it does. And this isn't the conversation we're having, but
sure.
Yeah, we don't really need to go down this route. I do want to actually what?
I was going to address a couple comments.
I was going to change it completely.
I was just okay. Go for it then. You're good.
You know, address some comments.
I was just going to say something that Firestar789 said that I completely resonate was I have faith in the Russo Bros.
Yeah, I do.
I completely agree with that. I think they were brought back for a reason, and I truly, wholeheartedly believe if they didn't think they could do it or didn't have a story, they wouldn't come back. And they've spoken on this, but not only have they spoken on, I believe it. You know, based off of their passion for the Infinity Saga and where that ended up, it's so true. And I think that's a really cool comment from them. And then Shannon said that they brought the Guardians of the Galaxy into the Infinity War perfectly. And that's another part of that is they met Thor, and then, you know, just some really, really cool things that make those moments even more exciting and emotional for you.
Totally. No, I agree, but I'm laughing because of the super chat.
Joshua, come.
Your mortal enemy.
Are you my nemesis? Are you my?
He paid
put another $2.
But it's not me.
Again.
But it's not me.
What about? Yeah. What about Joshua?
But cool chat. I like that. That was a cool topic of conversation. Joshua. I thought that was pretty neat.
Well, I do want to have deeper conversations about this, but I do want to address one thing that people have been talking about a lot in the chat. Ooh. The possibility of Sadie Sink being Mayday Parker, Peter Parker's daughter. And I am actually all for this idea. She's a variant, and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man shows up maybe, and it's his daughter. And
that would make me so happy. I just
really
got
think
butterflies.
It would be super cool.
That would... Can we?
That would be very cool.
That's the
canon.
Would be
very, very cool.
No, that's the canon. Let's start that rumor. If there's any news people in here,
I know what our video is going to be tomorrow.
Hey, we don't start rumors on the channel. We talk about what the other people are starting.
They're called theories.
If it happens to be true, it's just us getting a leg up on the competition.
It's a theory.
Right?
A theory.
We call it a theory at that point.
Yeah.
Actuality. Let's make it happen. Sadie Sink made it.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cute.
Yeah, it would be awesome. I do want to address this comment real quick where someone said my stuff travels, especially the negative stuff. I put that back on the studio. If I watch something and it's bad, and I say it's bad, it's not my fault.
Yeah, it's your
if
job to lie about it
something's
being
bad,
good.
Yeah, if everybody is saying something is bad, then it's bad. You know what I mean? And like, don't get me wrong. Like, look, everybody has their own opinions. What I think is great might not be great to a lot of people. What I think is bad might be really great to a lot of people. And that is what it is. That's the beauty of having your own opinions. And you have validity to what you're saying. Like, there are those rage bait people out there that just speak negative all the time. I don't. I consider myself pretty positive about a lot of things. I actually get crap for a lot of people saying that I'm a Disney Marvel shill all the time. And, you know, you can never win on the internet because people will say like, oh, you're such a shill. And then some people will be like, man, all you do is dog on the MCU lately. I'm like, what? How are both things
I can't be both.
How am I getting called both?
I'm one or the other.
Right. Yeah. How
so
are
sorry.
these? Yeah.
I'm trying so hard to like, because you're talking about something really serious, and then I saw the super chat, and I'm trying to like.
You're a squirrel girl.
Yeah, I am. I'm such a squirrel girl or a Gwenpool. Like I feel like I would play those so well, either Squirrel Girl or Gwenpool.
You'd have to get, because nowadays with Marvel Rivals, you'd have to get really thick to play the Squirrel Girl.
I know. So many of the good characters that I would do so well. Like talk about like bulking up. I gotta thicken out. I gotta get those Pixar hips to play some of these characters. Like,
Pixar hips.
The Pixar hips.
Yeah. See, what's funny, I wanted to see something real quick. When I pull up Squirrel Girl, it's like a lot of Marvel Rival stuff. Yeah.
That's where a lot of people even know her from.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, most people don't. I mean, do people know that Squirrel Girl defeated Thanos?
She's one of the most powerful people in the MCU. Love it. I'll dress up as Squirrel Girl for one of the cons coming up for sure.
Or one of our streams. Sorry, we're not good enough.
Ay, Dios mío. Fine, one of the streams. Just my giant ass tail just right back there.
Do it. And then you can get Casanova to cosplay as Tippy Toe.
Although she doesn't want to sit in the stream.
I don't want, but I have to Diane Brown, and we talked about that already.
Oh, right. Well, okay, so to bring it back to Sadie Sink, honestly, my vote it's hard to say because so Kevin Feige did say we are going to start to see X-Men show up in some projects that are about to come up. My point in the video that I made about these yesterday was several insiders, and I think it was Jeff Snyder who first reported Sadie Sink, Jean Grey. Apologize if that's not who the first person was, but several insiders also backed this up. They were backing this up, and they were already proven half right. She clearly was talking with Marvel. She's been cast in Spider-Man 4, right? So they got that part right. Why wouldn't the second part be right? And sometimes it's a little bit not misinformation on purpose, but maybe maybe somebody goes, I heard them talking about this. I think it's Jean Grey. Oh, actually they were talking about MJ, right? So sometimes that happens. So maybe that Kevin Feige talking about the X-Men characters coming up, and with the Scooper saying before Jean Grey, maybe Jean Grey is in this movie. If it's set on Battleworld and it's just a giant multiversal world, also Jean Grey's in New York City. And if we go by the rules of, and this is stupid to say, admittedly, but I think of this because you had, it's not because it's MCU. You had Spider-Man No Way Home and Venom 2 bring in Tom Hardy to the MCU. And then he got brought back out. When that happened, the proximity of where he was the same. He was in like Mexico, right? And he was still there, right?
Viva.
When he went there, he was in the exact same spot. He was in that hotel room and then the bar. And then so by that logic, if we get some type of multiversal swap like that, whoever's in New York should be where they're at in New York, and which is why I believe the ending of Venom 3 had Tom Hardy in New York. So when the multiverse stuff crosses over, he'll be in another universe in New York, where Spider-Man is. So we know that the X-Men are in New York. If it fuses with Spider-Man's New York, they're both there. It makes sense considering the story that they're going to go through with Avengers Doomsday at the end, where we believe is going to result in Battleworld, which is, again, just a multiversal world. So Spider-Man 4 takes place after Battleworld. Logic would tell us it has to be a giant multiversal film. Jean Grey does make a lot of sense, consider what we heard.
Yeah, but ever since you said Mayday Parker, I haven't thought
about
it.
In my head,
because I'm a little confused, not confused, but I'm also waiting for Spectrum, just because she, like, the last cutscene that we saw her in, she was in the X-Men universe. So I'm confused on how that is going to tie in with this new Sadie Sink casting and just all of that.
So to that point, I think that actually comes in Doomsday.
Okay.
So this will come after, right? Because so you basically have to just break it off into sections here. Sorry. Avengers Doomsday is
we need
probably
one of those like
going
alien boards that's just like
Yeah,
got all the
right.
dots and the lines connected.
The Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme where he's got all the that thing.
Aliens.
Yeah. So Avengers Doomsday, what's most likely going to happen is that's when we see all the incursions, right? And we don't know what we're getting before is the thing. Like, we don't know if Marvel plans to do Doctor Strange 3 before, which I don't think so. I think it would come after, but Fantastic Four might be a lot more multiversal than we realize as well, right? You never have we don't really know. Based on what we do know so far, that's all the information that's out there. Doomsday is going to be where we see the incursions happen, and it should result at the end of that movie with the destruction of the entire multiverse, and all that's left is Battleworld, right? So that scene is probably going to show us in Doomsday an incursion between the 10,005 universe, which is where I believe she's at, the universe that Deadpool and Wolverine and all the other X-Men are in right now, and our universe. I think that's what we're going to see, and that's how in Secret Wars we get those characters with our character, and even Doomsday we get those characters with our characters. So that all happens in Doomsday, and then after Doomsday, we get Spider-Man 4 set on Battleworld. Incursions aren't a thing anymore, right? All universes, or whatever these remnants of the universes left are put into one world. So the incursions don't even matter anymore, right? The multiverse is already gone. Now we just have a giant variant world.
Well, it's the world at that point. It just is.
Right. It's just one world.
It's just one.
Which is basically just a multiverse world. Which is cool. Like, if we think about in a movie, that's cool. Like, yeah.
It's crazy because there's so many like different characters that are gonna, just from this one movie, that are gonna come back. Clea Strange, we're gonna hopefully see this new Sadie Sink, see what happens with them. Spectrum from wherever she left off. Like, I love that this is finally gonna bring all of those holes, I guess, that people call those plot holes of the MCU. It's gonna tie all of those together. It's very exciting. Oh God, come on.
I just read a comment.
Don't burst my bubble.
I just read a comment that said W's for thick jasmine firefight.
Nice.
What is W? Like wins?
Like a win, yeah.
Y'all, I am so twiggy right now. It's not. I will get there. I'm gonna.
Well, you got to give the people what they want. Is that not like the biggest quote on this channel?
You know what? 50K, and I'll do thick girl. I'll do thick girl, score girl. We got to get the
Chris and Jasmine only stream. Just
we're gonna start a petition.
There we go.
We're starting a petition.
I got the thickums for you.
Yeah, but I
love that we're exploiting.
All I now want.
I'm here for
you know what I think? Actually,
why do you think you're here?
I don't know. I thought it was my comic knowledge and my eloquent way to interrupt people.
Nah.
My excellent interviews on red carpets. No.
I need to exploit your woman.
Prospect of the thickum thighs.
Prospect of thickum thighs. That's a shirt. Anyways, Chris, what?
I think ever since you said Mayday Parker, that's all I've thought about.
That's all I've thought about too. No, in all honesty,
and not even necessarily do I need Sadie Sink. It's the Toby aspect of it. So I want Mayday Parker to show up, and then I want Spider-Man 4 Mayday. And I want to see him training her on how to use her powers and have a cute dad-daughter moment, and I want to cry, and I think I need that now. And I don't think anything else important is more important. Like, this is more important than Doomsday. I need it.
Well, not even that. Like, yeah, I agree. But on top of that, I guess I should say, imagine her meeting Peter and being like, this is my dad in this universe.
Hold on, you're gonna tell me that Sadie Sink isn't the offspring of Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst? You're gonna tell me that that's not it?
No,
I mean, that'd be great. I have to come clean. Not that it's really surprised. I don't really care about the actors all that much. I don't care I care about the character.
You shut your face hole right now.
My
the
face
characters
hole
matter or the actors matter for the character.
Absolutely. I'm not saying actors don't matter. I'm saying I don't really care who plays the character. I don't need Sadie Sink to go play Mayday. I don't really need her to play. I like Sadie Sink.
You just want Mayday, and
I just want that care. I want that emotion. That's the most important thing for me for any movie is that emotional connection, that breakaway from the real world. I think Toby specifically because of what he's already created.
Well, because he's already a Spider-Man.
Right. He's already created that for me, which is where the nostalgia and the nods come into play. But like just seeing how he fathered the other Spider-Men Did anybody not have an amazing emotional reaction to him, like trying to help Andrew, trying to help Tom
No, yeah, of
post?
course.
Right now, imagine him doing that with his own daughter. Like,
No, I think I need it now too. Like, I think
that'd be what
I need her to be Mayday.
I haven't needed anything more from Marvel than this. Warren blew my. I didn't even think about it. Warren said it, and I like everything else stopped mattering. Like, I'm not going to feed my cat for 6 weeks.
Done.
Like,
yeah, I do see it. I just lost it. I have seen this a few times. Noah, yeah. Angelica Angel Jones / Firestar. Maybe. I don't know though. I feel like what they're planning is to do something big, because let's be honest, Marvel has a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think for all of the population right now, probably there is a lull with Marvel, and the hype is not as big as it was before going
For
into
whatever
Infinity
reason.
War.
Almost doesn't
Going
matter
into
what the reason
Infinity,
is.
well, right, but going into Infinity War, holy crap! I mean, we had Thor Ragnarok, we had Civil War. Like, those two alone were just two amazing movies to give us so much hype for Infinity War. So now, I believe we have the ability to get that hype back if Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four are amazing, and I do believe they will be, but there is ground to make up. So I think, and you keep in mind, what happens in between Doomsday and Secret Wars is going to be very important, and they want, you just imagine the studios obviously want Doomsday and Secret Wars to be bigger than Infinity War and Endgame, right? So they need something really big. And I think a big swing for the next Spider-Man film would be to have Jean Grey in there. Now, don't get me wrong, I still want May.
I just left this conversation.
That's an emotional swing.
I'm writing that movie right now.
Longevity swing.
Right.
I do get that. It's a different kind of play.
It is.
I guess
so like if you really are aiming for a grand slam, putting the X-Men with Spider-Man and maybe a lot more characters as well. You know what I mean? Like I think there's a decent chance Venom shows up. Tom Hardy's Venom. I really do.
You think so? But doesn't Sony own that? Or I don't think that we can have that crossover yet.
No, they work together.
Okay, fair enough.
They totally work together. Yeah, I mean,
Sony,
they have to come to an agreement, but it's the same thing they did for Spider-Man.
Those are very long and drawn out, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, what if we get a new team in Spider-Man because it's going to be on Battleworld, and they trying to take on either a big multiversal villain that's trying to rule the New York City of Battleworld, or take on Doom, and they get their own team, and it's Spider-Man, Jean Grey, Deadpool, and Wolverine show up with Gambit. You know what I mean? Like, what if it's like a huge thing? And I kind of think it should be right. I kind of think,
but I feel like that's its own film. Like, I want that. I don't want that to be a one-off. I want that to be its own.
Minutes.
There's not enough, at least to satiate me. There would not, if I saw Gambit on screen, I would be so mad, because I know I'm so tired of Gambit just being like a cute little insert.
Maybe that's just what he do. He's a cute little, like,
he's just a cute little, like, hey, I'm here. Audience goes,
I'm here.
Give me a full 2 hour 15 of just Gambit, please.
Because
I would love that.
God, I need it. My body needs it.
On the conversation
and Mayday.
Yeah. Gosh, I never knew I needed anything so bad. On that conversation, I do feel like, in my small little tiny Chris world in mind, I have a hard time wrapping my head around how this finishes in 2 movies. Like, the movies need to be 4 hours long
this
each.
Being that was clean.
I have now figured it out.
Okay. Episode 3, y'all. He figured it out. Like, Infinity War, we knew where we were going, because Civil War was such a tee up for that.
Yeah.
I don't know how Fantastic Four is gonna. I mean, maybe it will. Maybe they'll dive into incursions. Maybe we'll start seeing incursions from Fantastic Four. We don't really know. They've done such a good job of keeping this one under wraps. But they need. I think Warren was really onto something about how important Ragnarok and Civil War were for going into the ending. And we're just so far away from that it's gonna take a perfect film to tee us up for whatever Doomsday. Because Doomsday needs to introduce an entire villain. And tie everything together. So it's so hard to sit here and be like, yeah, and like in 3 or 4 movies, we're going to be done with the multiverse saga, and it's like
right.
We haven't even started.
It's so crazy why they honestly would waste a cutscene in Brave New World. It doesn't make sense to me. Like I'm feeling like I mean, we're just bitching earlier about the cutscenes, but those are supposed to be setting us up for bigger pictures. At least that's what they did in the first phase, second phase, a little bit in the third phase. But we were setting up for the bigger movie.
I know why.
I
know why.
Give it to
me. The script's not done. They don't know what they're going to set up.
They can't tee it up because they're still working on it.
The script. They're working on it still right now. So whenever they filmed all this before, they didn't know, right? They might have had half a script then.
That's so crazy.
So
they might have
because we'll wait. That's my thing is we will wait. We will wait for a good script.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree personally.
They should have just kept Kang, man. Like everything they were building up.
Kang had to go and get in trouble.
I don't care if you keep Jonathan.
But he's not even in trouble anymore. That's what's crazy.
I mean, he was with the law. He's not civilly in trouble. He still was convicted.
He was convicted. I'm not arguing that, but like the whole and like everyone, I think even Michael B. Jordan is like, yeah, bring him back. Like all of these people are like, why?
Oh, I want him to come back.
Oh, I don't care. I don't think they should have fired him in the first place. Yeah, I don't care what he did in his personal private time. Like I said, I don't care about actors that much.
But my whole thing is, even if they got rid of him, still, I mean, they did, but keep him, get rid of him. Keep Kang.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I would have rather had Jonathan Majors stay on board. I don't.
The whole thing about Kang is that he can be. There's multiple. Kang is a multiverse.
That's the thing,
and
I've seen.
Like it would have been so easy.
Right. and I've seen a lot of people are like, well, Marvel's biggest mistake was in the Quantumanium post-credit scene. They made everybody look like him.
Oh, yeah, that's.
I'm like, yeah, but they also established in plenty of other things that variants can look the same or different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think we're
X. Yes.
Warren, did you read it?
Yes.
I think that's the problem. Is we're at this very awkward crossroad without. Hey, she did it. They did it.
Casanova.
They did it. Yes, Casanova has joined the stream finally. Apparently, he felt abandoned.
Yeji, wake up. Yeji.
Lola's right here, but you can't see her.
I love that when one cat gets on screen, all of us are like, "Okay, cats, it's time, cats,
we all love cats. That's so great."
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's such a difficult place, and there is a decent aspect of me. One of the easiest movie critics that exists to please. I am a little nervous. I am a little unsure of how it's all going to fit out. I think there's amazing potential. I don't know that they have enough screen minutes to wrap this story up.
Well, quick, because I have you. What would be the perfect ending for you? I know that you're very concerned about how it's going to end, but if you had your way, and I kind of want to put you on the spot. You got like 2 minutes to say it because we could go on
fix
forever.
Marvel. Go fix Marvel.
Yeah, well, not fix Marvel, but wrap Marvel up in your perfect world. What are the big highlights that you want to make sure that they hit?
I think that the idea that Warren has almost unanimously. Go ahead, Warren.
Anthony said Cosmic Cat's a symbol.
Cosmic Cats is great. We need t-shirts of all of our cats.
T-shirts. Are you writing these down? Yeah. Are you writing these down?
I've written some down.
Hold on. Joshua, my mortal enemy, has dropped something in the chat. He said, we're better off having Doom as the Secret Wars big bad. He should have been from the beginning. Kang could be a part of it, but it's Doom's story.
He's not wrong. In the comics,
I actually think Marvel had really always had plans to do Doom. I might make that my video tomorrow. I've had that idea for a long time, and I have gathered a lot of thoughts on it written down. I actually think that might have always been the plan, because the timeline of when they started to talk to Robert Downey Jr. and when Jonathan Majors was fired doesn't line up. They were talking to Robert Downey Jr. before they fired Jonathan Majors, which leads me to believe
Doom was always going to be
and it was always going to be RDJ.
I completely.
Then why don't they have a script? So why is there not a concrete script?
Because Kang was originally going to still be involved.
Sure.
And he was still going to be like the big bad. Eventually, Kang, I think, would help defeat Dr. Doom. And then it's like, okay, cool, we defeated him. Now I got to defeat Kang.
I think the other problem was, and the comment there, 66VNB, Kang had us hyped. Like, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Kang took everybody. And part of that is Jonathan Majors. Oh my gosh. But everybody loved Kang. Nobody was like, man, who cares about Kang? There were complaints about him losing to ants or, you know.
That was the complaint, right? He lost,
but that's irrelevant.
It wasn't, oh, I hate Kang. It was, what the hell?
And that is so easy to get over. Like, Kang, probably caused so many up and down heart attack problems for Marvel in the sense that they're like, oh my gosh, they love this guy. We can save Doom for the next saga. Let's just use Kang. And then it was like, oh crap. HR is going to have our heads if we don't fire this guy. You know, call whatever. Mickey Mouse is sitting there like, fire him. But like, they were put in such a conundrum. And then, now they're scrambling. They had Doom with RDJ up on the board, but then they're like, oh, we're not going to do this. Don't worry about it. And now they're like, oh, never mind. We're doing it again. Somebody call the Russos and beg them to love us. Like, I think Warren's 100% right.
Well, it was RDJ that wanted them.
Also true.
Yeah, he said I had been talking to them for a year before they agreed. So if you go to Comic-Con when they announced it, right? And it's probably before this, obviously, right? But if you go to Comic-Con when they announced it and you go a year back from that, that's July 2023. And Jonathan Majors got fired at the end of 2024? No, 2023. He got fired at the end of 2023.
It's been a while.
So Downey was confirmed in before they fired Majors, right? Probably, so 6 months before at least, but probably a year before, which means Doom was in it originally. So they just got rid of the Kang aspect of it and rewrote the story around Doom.
And which is why it feels so shortly lived, right? And that's why we're sitting here like, I can't really wrap my head around getting this entire story at an end because they cut out like this whole middle bit and they're not really ready for this end bit. But I think to Jasmine's point, like personally speaking, I won't speak for all the people in the universe. I'd be fine waiting. I really would be.
I would be.
To get something better, yes.
But the problem is now we're looking at all these actors and we don't want them to age out. We don't want them to get other projects. So it's going to take them away. And so I think there is a little bit of fire under everyone, the executives' minds on we need this now. We have to make sure that we lock all these characters in. But then, you let things slip. We got the leaks. There's just things that are going to happen that are going to prevent the excitement of all of us, the viewers, from being as high. So I don't know. I want us to wait, but you gotta back up. You can't just wait, but still release little things. If you're gonna hold it, they'd have to sincerely put a pause, go in the dark, fix it, and then come back.
I don't think they will.
No, of course not. They have the
money.
money.
Set in motion. I want to address a few comments real quick. Resilient. I don't know if there's going to be a Beyonder. I think there needs to be some cosmic entity that Doom takes his powers from. Russo said they're drawing inspiration from both Secret Wars runs, both of which have either the Beyonder or Beyonders in them. I think they should go that route. That's to Jasmine and Chris's point, what we just got done talking about. It's a lot to throw in. Like when you have so much to wrap up and so much to do already, it's still a lot to just randomly throw in these people, but they can make it work. At the same time, but at the same time, I also think it's really easy to just end all storylines that really don't matter at all. Because here's the deal. In reality, whatever you're doing in life at the time, if a massive threat comes in that threatens everything in existence, the entire multiverse, not just your universe, but the entire multiverse, everyone's stopping what they're doing and going to fight that. You know what I mean?
What is a pointless timeline or a pointless storyline to you? What falls in that category? And I'm not judging. I genuinely want to know
pointless, but what I mean by that is what doesn't tie directly into like Doom.
Yeah.
For example, not that I don't love it, but Fisk, like we were talking about earlier. Like, does any of that matter? It doesn't mean I'm not super stoked for Fisk or Daredevil, but in the grand scheme of where we're headed, how much does
in the cosmos,
how much does Mayor Fisk matter? Like, it just doesn't.
Or street level gang wars. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or does what Wonder Man does and whatever his show is going to be about matter? Does Ironheart's story against the Hood matter? No. Will Ironheart be in Doomsday and Secret Wars? Probably, right? So it's like, like even villains, that's the whole point though. Like when you're talking about Kingpin and the Hood, it's like nothing else matters. No other villains matter, right? It's just becomes about Doom. So it's like Thunderbolts, their story matters because they're going to be in it, right? Does their particular story matter to Doomsday? No. All that matters is the team, right? Same thing with Captain America Brave New World. Will the Red Hulk matter? No. Will
the Red Hulk better show up though? The Red Hulk better show up when called.
Right. I hope so. And that's one of those things where it's like you drop everything to take on the big threat. let Red Hulk out of prison to take on, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, and you know, to your point, like the Marvels does matter for the story. Monica Rambeau clearly has something big being with the other universe, and Captain Marvel's probably out there searching for her right now with a bangle on hand. Miss Marvel has a bangle. That's gonna matter. Well,
Mhm.
I mean, you would assume,
That's how you
right?
travel the multiverse.
Hopefully.
So that's what I mean. Like some things will be dropped, but they'll primarily focus on the stories that really tie in to Doom and what he's doing.
I would say one of the most important parts, and I'm on the internet every day. Warren's been talking about this for years. The reboot, it's important. And it's going to be critical. And people aren't going to agree with it. And it's going to be controversial. But it is so important. Because that's the problem that the multiverse saga kind of faced was the aftermath of Endgame. We just moved on to this new world. And everybody was still tied up back there. And comparing the next movie to Endgame like that was even fair. You know, oh, Ant-Man and the Quantumania was nowhere near as good as Endgame. Like, oh, no freaking crap.
No,
like,
it's not
obviously,
Endgame. It wasn't setting out to be Endgame.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think this reboot is such a good idea. One, because we're going to get every team. Whoa.
I didn't know I could do this. Sorry, I just clicked it.
No,
Is that
Jeff
popping up in
Snyder
the real
just
chat?
reported that he is told that Sadie is Mary Jane.
That's
Jeff
super
and
cool,
John
whatever
are
that is.
live now. That's really cool. Can we put that on screen? Is there any way we can put
It
that
is on
live?
screen.
No.
It's on
It says that
screen.
Jeff and John are live right now. Can we put that
I'm
on
sure
screen?
he can edit it.
Don't make me do that. I can't even get the three of us on the screen.
Hold on. That's not till episode 10. That's not till episode 10. We are way, but we need to level up.
We could do live viewing of that. We're fine.
Don't make me try to do that.
I think the reboot is extremely important, and it needs to be done carefully. And that's where it comes back to like, okay, so Daredevil's done all this, and we have a Daredevil season 2. Is that going to continue on in the reboot? Is it going to
before the reboot?
Other scenarios of stories that haven't finished? Do those just disappear? And that's kind of the point. Every story is important. We all have personal preferences and things we care about, but at some point, Marvel needs to decide, okay, we're done with this. We need to go in this new direction.
And it's just, and I almost hate you guys for bringing up the point that none of it matters. Because now I'm sitting here thinking about Wonder Man. I'm thinking about Ironheart. I'm thinking about Daredevil season 2. I'm thinking about all of these other shows that are happening. If we're getting My Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man season 2, all of these shows. And I'm like, they're just B stories that don't matter.
Well,
and it sucks.
We also sat there and said you're allowed to enjoy those moments.
I know,
like, that's a
and
you
I
choice.
hear you. It 100% is a me choice, and that's something that I now have to wrestle with because you know me. I watch these shows. I go and do hours of research. I play in the comics, but I'm going to be sitting there now wrestling with the fact that it's just such small potatoes compared to the big battle that is ahead.
There's some truth to that for sure. That's the internal conflict, I suppose.
That is the internal conflict, and honestly, it's the internal conflict of
the
heroes and the Watcher who's literally watching all of this and it's like, oh, Daredevil struggling. But meanwhile, he knows the big picture that's going to happen. And I feel like the Watcher in and of myself, watching all these small things happening, knowing the big battle that's ahead. Sucks.
I get it. I think I figured it out though, by the way.
Ooh. Wait, so what was that? Was that people's comments?
I didn't do it. Remove. Oh, come on.
Does it just need a second to load? Is that the issue?
No, I don't know. I don't know where this is at is the problem.
I have no idea what's happening.
Hot mic.
Hello, Johnny. Wasn't
what do you hear brought this on? Because it seemed like that the initial
I don't know where
buzzing.
They talk about
work again. And, I have no idea if that's the. Obviously, I understand why artists have been boycotting the game.
Yeah,
that's great.
I don't know where they're going to be talking about MJ.
It's okay.
It's
it's nice to know that we have this power, though.
It's getting better, everybody.
I know how to do it now.
Yeah, that is nice. That now we know we can podcast within a podcast.
Within a podcast if we wanted to.
That doesn't even matter.
Yeah. But that's good to know. So Sadie is Jean. Is this? But because the hot mic is still rumors, isn't it? Or are they trying to say that it is?
Yeah. No, I mean, Jeff Snyder is considered, an insider. He's been right about things, right about some of his reports in the past and such, so I mean, we take everything with a grain of salt, obviously. Right. But yeah, I mean, he's been right about things, right? So clearly as a source. So apparently what he said is yeah, the Watcher, I can't find the timestamps. I just looked for it. If you can maybe tell me the timestamp, I could maybe bring it up. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this is my least favorite out of all the options we could have gotten for Sadie Sink to come into the Spider-Man movie to play MJ. Like, this is my least favorite choice. And now it's like, okay, so is it the real Mary Jane of that universe, right? Because MJ isn't technically MJ, right? That's her nickname. What's her real name? Michelle Jones?
Michelle
Something
Jones.
like that?
Michelle Jones.
Yeah. So they're gonna go with a more true MJ here. It's kind of convoluted, but
that just hurts my heart a little bit. I hate it. I'm such a Tom Zaya fan, and I loved that relationship that they were building. But as we know, she lost her memory. She doesn't even know who he is. So it would be a great segue to save her, to make her happy. And of course, canonically, it is MJ in the end. As much as we can say Gwen Stacy, Blackcat, all these other people, he does marry MJ. They do have Mayday. Why am I forgetting her name now? Baby. Yeah. The Mayday. They have Mayday together. So I know eventually if Tom is going to finally
I know, Lauren, you've ruined me.
I know that if we're finally going to get to that and finally have a Spider-Man that gets to marriage, we gotta get there. I mean, this is the first Spider-Man that made it to 3. And well, I'm sorry, 4. The first one that made it to 4 films. So sure, right. I'm fine. I'm not ecstatic about it, but whatever.
But I mean, Zendaya's character still does have the hyphenated last name of Watson. Yeah, I mean,
there could be 2 Watsons in town.
Bye, Anthony.
Bye, Anthony. Thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for super chat. Thanks for being a member. Variant. It seems like then if you're gonna. And you have to imagine, especially with Zendaya and Tom being engaged in real life, Tom Holland signed up for 3 other Spider-Man films, which means Zendaya is going to be there as well. That's the most likely situation. So this is a temporary thing, which again, this just seems like a waste of Sadie Sink to me now. I mean,
yeah, why would you not, if it's not going to be a longevity, like wouldn't you rather use Sadie Sink for Jean Grey, something established and solidified?
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Yeah, and he's been Jeff Snyder's been right before a bunch of times, but he's been wrong about a few things, and I honestly hope he's wrong. I hope he's heard wrong. I can't say he's wrong. He's saying he heard something, and I hope what he has heard is wrong, because I don't like this.
Sweetheart.
In the amazing Cliff Johnson, I hear you, Firestar.
Like, you can hear it in your voice, like both of you. I don't like this. Like the genuine.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah, I think out of everything you could do, okay, and I'm gonna bring this back. Out of everything you can do, this is bad writing. If you're gonna do this, well,
it's just pointless. You want to talk about why? Who cares? Like, it's unnecessary. There's no point. Everybody knows, regardless of if she's MJ or not MJ, just because of their relationship in the real world, it's gonna be her. Like, she's the one he's going to end up with.
Worse than that. And I would even argue like racism. No, but I'm like, why? Why do we need 2 MJs? Why is the Mary Jane that we already have not enough? Why do we have to have in a multiverse 2 MJs? And I get it. It could be a different timeline, different stream that she pops into, but why? Why is that important?
I know what you have to imagine what they're going for is this conflict with Peter. MJ doesn't remember who he is, and all of a sudden he meets a new MJ that's really pretty to him. That's got to be the angle.
I mean, I don't disagree with that point. I actually think that's a really good point. If they're sitting here talking about love interests, and we've heard about so many different options played by so many different wonderful actresses or actors,
Blackcat, Gwen, my girl.
Maybe they're sitting in a room thinking, "Oh, nobody is going to have as much
Loki
impact
bracelets
as another MJ." From a different universe, from the same universe, like
that's a fair point. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a big impact, right? That's a big oh crap moment. So I guess I won't.
Who cares? We got bigger things to deal with.
Well,
that's the deal to me. Like, I guess I can't really call the writing out for that because it's a big moment.
The timing is kind of
the timing, yeah.
And I'm also just now, and if this is true, I'm just mad that they're going to waste Sadie Sink for this.
Also true.
Well, yeah, and then you have to think, okay, great. Now we have to reshuffle. Who is going to be our Sadie? Can you take that her off the picture now of the X-Men? Because now we have to put a giant question mark there.
Worse than no.
We have to put a giant question mark there because now,
Worse than
are there any other up and coming redheads that have been in global shows and films?
You have a wig?
Yes,
You know
I
what?
do.
You
I
know
have
what?
a whole closet full of wigs.
I'll do it.
I just got
Jasmine's
too
the
much
new
melanin.
MJ.
I would
Jasmine's the new
rather be Rogue. I would rather be Rogue.
Well, that's not an
if I
option.
had
You
enough-
have to
Talking
squat a lot, if you know what I mean.
Can you
Jasmine
explain
getting
it?
thicked up again. What do you mean? Can I explain that? You know what I'm talking about. You've seen that picture of Rogue laying down where her.
Oh, I
butt is
know
huge.
everyone.
You know what I'm
every
talking
female
about.
Rogue cosplayer has done that. I have not done it yet,
Exactly.
but we'll get to it. Yikey keeks. Anyway, that's all I got.
I'm not the only person on the planet by any means who probably just wish we were getting the fan-friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? I don't really want the multiverse one. Maybe a lot of people do. I wouldn't have minded. They ended No Way Home with such a good little, he's in the crappy apartment and he's making his own little suit and he just had his big loss and we've seen all this and it's like such a character development moment for him. And we've seen so many renditions of Spider-Man where he like gives up on Spider-Man and he wants to become Peter Parker and he fails. But we haven't really seen the, I'm just going to be Spider-Man and who cares about Peter.
Yeah.
And I was extremely excited for that. And it's just so irrelevant now because of the location and time. But I would have really enjoyed that. And then MJ would have been really interesting in that story.
Hmm.
The new MJ?
Yeah, a new MJ would have made that really interesting. But it's kind of irrelevant with the whole, we're post Doomsday now. Like, hey.
I mean, I'm not mad about it being multiverse old now.
No.
I would have liked to see what we had before. Like, yeah, it was set up very well, but just the way things are, like, I don't think it can be that anymore. Like,
no, I don't either.
Especially if it's on Battleworld, it can't be that. You know what I mean?
Friendly
like,
neighborhood Spider-Man on Battleworld, like, there is no neighborhood, homie. Like,
it does, yeah. Well, and it goes back to
No
what he said in Infinity War. How am I supposed to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there's no neighborhood to protect or whatever? You know, it's and then he's knighted as an Avenger. Yeah, I mean,
actually knighted too, by the way.
Marcus Hunter there says, two things. Sadie doesn't give off the most powerful X-Men vibes. I think she's supposed to grow into it though, right? Like she's supposed to be Jean at the school, developing powers, growing up to be stronger.
Yeah, I don't think she's busting out as Phoenix. I
don't think she's not. Yeah, I don't. I think they do. The Phoenix
that was
Saga
sassy.
story. No. They go and
no, it's to Marcus. I don't want to just
You just put Marcus in his place.
I know. I'm so sorry. I reread that back and I was like, that sounded kind of bitchy. I'm so sorry.
We like you, Marcus.
I love you, Marcus. I love you so much.
But
so
no, I think they do the Phoenix Saga. They go into space. Jean's in the cockpit. Everybody else is being protected. She gets hit with the Phoenix Force because it psychically hears her and stuff like that. Like they do that, and she becomes.
And how cute. I know it's not necessarily canon to the comics, but how cute is it if we have the Fantastic Four now, and like she brings them to Mr. Fantastic, and she's like, oh no, what happened? And like we could bring those worlds together because now we've got people in space, scientists. We've got all of this together. It just works.
See, that's the new world that we're going to be in after Secret Wars, which is like, that's why I'm like, dude, yeah, the future's so bright for Marvel. It's a mess kind of right now because they have so much to make up for. But the next saga is going to be crazy.
Oh my God. And I forgot about Null. Jared Ortiz said, I hope Null is the villain for this movie. I forgot about Null.
I don't think so. I think maybe they did set him up to be
Null
like a threat
is
to
darkness.
the multiverse.
He's too big. Marvel is like a celestial status. He is literally darkness personified. That's bigger. That's Galactic Wars. I don't know that we're there yet.
Good at sharing anyway, so that's a whole different.
Yeah, I'm so Brett, don't do Phoenix again. They're gonna have they have to.
Oh, they can't.
That's so important.
Yeah, it's so important.
I am you on the other hand, Brett. Yeah. I'm looking at you. That one I gotta be sassy about. Yeah,
back to
without Phoenix.
Well, back to Marcus's second comment, which is I hate the multiverse. It does complicate things
a little bit.
It allows a lot to be possible though. But moving forward, we're hearing that it's not going to be so much a multiverse, but whereas it's just going to be one timeline, one universe with the X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four, which I think will make it a little bit better. I do. Don't get me wrong. If they would have stuck with the Kang storyline, the multiverse thing would have been freaking fire. Like it would have been awesome. I think
chaotic as Kang is, it would have been so much more seamless. It would have just been beautiful.
So much more.
Oh yeah, I was going to take a picture of us today. Smile for me. I forgot. Everybody just chat, relax. I gotta take a picture.
No.
Laws not
Oh,
here.
why would you
3,
just
2,
why
1.
didn't you just take it?
Because I wanted you to smile. Thank you. Onwards with the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, Christopher Jones, that's true with anything, as long as they don't mess it up, right? And, you know.
Someone's going to be unhappy, though. No matter what you do, someone's going to be unhappy.
That's the thing of it. I'm such a dork because I just want a nice
Flip it.
emotional story. I don't care. I'm a little
but
whiny
that's,
baby. Like,
hold on, because you're very correct. And me being more and more, I'm very much on the romance. I'm very much on relationships. I think that's what makes a great story. And I do think twofold. One, to Warren's point, I think the reset is going to give us an opportunity to rebuild these stories from the ground up. And again, see Jean Grey, see all of these characters. We get to grow up with them. I think that's so vital to us.
That's what
having
I'm
some
so
sort of
excited for.
emotional stake in these characters. So I don't know. I'm excited. I know everyone is really nervous about Battle Wars, about this reset, about the incursion. I know that there's a lot of trepidation for it just because of these last few movies we've had just haven't really hit the mark. But I do think that what we're gearing up to is a total reset, a total recall, a total opportunity for them to bring back that emotion that, like Chris said, we absolutely need.
Well, the only slight issue is that it's not going to be a total reset.
No, it will not. There will be, and that's where it gets messy, right? Who do you keep? Who do you not keep? Why do you do that? The actor's done. The actor's not done. People hate this person. Like,
you say
that
but
does get messy.
I don't know. I think they're going to be more cameo or like mentor roles. I don't think that we're going to have
Fantastic Four.
Well, the Fantastic Four is new.
Survive.
Those are new.
Yeah,
I think that counts as new blood for me.
I actually think they should reset it.
Just hard reset.
I think they should just reset it.
And then we
get Iron Man back, Captain America, Black Widow.
That's so scary to me.
It's scary.
I agree.
But you have to go into the reset in a new universe. No, what's wrong?
I think I disagree with you. I think I'm so sorry. I wanted you to finish. I think the only reason I disagree, and it's okay because I know how important those characters are.
By the way,
there are so many characters in the Marvel comic universe, and even with Iron Man, like they didn't think that Iron Man was going to be as successful as he was going to be. I just think that it's okay for us to explore other heroes and allow them their moments to shine. I don't think. But then I say that, but I know how pivotal those specific characters are to the storylines that happen. So it's just
and you can't ignore what happened before. And I was going to say, I think if it's a complete reboot, you have to in the universe you acknowledge that it's a reboot, not like not in a meta way, but you have like Mr. Fantastic, and he's like one of the few people who remembers, like, there was a universe before this. It's almost like a Galactus
storyline.
You start off the first movie in the next saga, whether it's an X-Men movie or whatever, with the president unveiling the Garden of Heroes, where they have enshrined all the heroes from the latter world.
That. Right, exactly.
And
the only reason our universe lives now and the entire
heroes of the
universe live now is because, look what they did with Loki and the TVA. Hey, before there was this big whole multiverse of war, and then He Who Remains, the Timekeeper, saved it. Same story. Hey, before there was this big multiversal war, and the Avengers and the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and the heroes of the multiverse came together and they saved it and sacrificed themselves so that we could live on now in this new universe. And then you just do a new thing.
2 points.
You address it, right? You address it, but then we move on and we just start from the beginning and it's clean. We're in a universe that has everybody. You have shrines of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson Black Widow. I
think they need that regardless, and it's so crazy they don't have that. We're gonna play around in the Celestial, and like the Celestial being the new hub for the Avengers, like all of that I still want, but I'm kind of bummed we don't have the saviors somewhere, like a place for us to mourn Black Widow, Captain America, even though he's alive. The Garden of Heroes.
2 points. One's a question, but first, Christopher Jones said something pretty cool, or not Christopher Jones. The amazing Cliff Johnson. Sorry.
Not you, Christopher. Sorry.
Cliff Johnson said, I want in on this conversation so bad. I think I'm going to make my own channel. You guys are great. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I feel like I sit here sometimes thinking.
Make your own channel.
Absolutely.
Did we influence you?
I think that's really cool. Question 2. Warren, obviously you don't know the answer. Is
How do you know?
The new yesteryear universe, post latter year universe featuring the Garden of Heroes singular, or does the multiverse end up surviving moving forward?
I think it has to survive. I don't think they should focus on it, but I think it has to
ignore
survive.
the hell out of it. Well, I guess that goes back to the whole
should.
Deadpool theory, Masters of the Multiverse or whatever. So I actually don't disagree. I think in my head I was like, they need to get rid of the multiverse, but now that you say that, I actually immediately turned around my thoughts on that too.
Well, it's like in the comics, you have stories that are multiversal and stories that aren't. You know what I mean? Like, and typically the multiversal stories are pretty big. Like you look at the Ultimates universe, and I've seen plenty of comments in the chat. Yes, I know about Kitty and Peter. Yes. The Ultimates universe is something. And I hope. Yeah, and I, what was really weird, and this is the comic nerd of me getting out, is after Secret Wars with the Maker, and they brought him back, and they showed him trying to influence a bunch of events, like with Thor and everything like that, and Thor joins. Oh crap, who's going around? I think it's Mr. Fantastic going around trying to fix everything, and Thor joins, and it's just that's something else. Like the Ultimates is something else.
The Ultimates is wild.
But it's big, and so I think that's what you get moving forward in the new rebooted universe that we're talking about now. You ignore the multiverse until you do get that really big storyline, and you know what? Tell a story set completely in a different universe. You don't even got to link it to any events that are happening right away, but then you can 4 years down the line, right? There's a correct way to go about all of this that they can do. Brett, thank you for that super chat. I figured out Thunderbolt Asterisk. They're gonna be Avengers. That sounds like your Red Guardian.
It's Avengers.
The Avengers. Thank you for that super chat.
I mean, you bring it back up again, though. Going back 45 minutes ago to my question: how do we fix the MCU? How do we tighten it up? What is your perfect ending?
Warren, this is all on you. Figure it out. Oh my!
I literally asked you, Christopher, but that's
fine. Well, I let everybody else talk because there was a lot of conversation that happened between that and now. I don't have the answer. Because
that's a cheap. No. I'm giving you the power. I'm giving you the gauntlet, the hand. Snap your fingers. Make it happen.
If the glove fits.
If the glove fits, you got 2 minutes. Snap your fingers, and then I'll ask Warren after.
Wouldn't presume to be or capable of being these people who are writing and coming up with these, but I would say the thing I feel that is missing the most from these movies that I'm not enjoying as much is the emotion, which I've said, and I'm a broken record about it, and I will be, because I do think that that's the most important point. I'll reference Guardians of the Galaxy.
What is the emotional through then? Is it Spider-Man? Is he our big emotional play? Who is it? Because I know
it's hard with Spider-Man because he's so restricted in the MCU. Iron Man showed up all over the place, and Loki's a good shout. I think Loki and Thor coming together and like a full circle moment there, but that's still not going to wrap up the multiverse. Like no one character can wrap up the entire multiverse. Like the amplification of what the multiverse is versus Endgame, it's like 1,000 times bigger. We were talking about one universe. We're talking about all the universes.
I'll be right back.
I guess you got to get rid of multiple people. Oh, buddy, this is what we've been waiting for.
No.
I'm so excited. Okay.
But no, I don't know, because there isn't a one way. Like everybody, this is the point. Everybody's waiting for Avengers Assemble. And we might not have known it, but we were waiting for Iron Man to sacrifice himself. The moment where Chris Evans'
some sort of sacrifice
character arc came all the way around, and he said to Iron Man, "The problem with you, Tony, is you're not the guy, to get down and lay on the barbed wire." And then he did. Right? Story complete.
Left? We've got.
But what is the moment where we're completing that story in multiverse? It doesn't really, like, Spider-Man's his own guy doing his own thing, and Sony's messed up a lot of that. I get that.
So is Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange.
There is no full arc moment where you're seeing these two guys who were kind of heroes. One was in the ice. One was just this bad boy who kind of have a disagreement the entire time, but they come together. There's a resolve, and there's that moment. It doesn't exist. Loki coming to Thor, that'll be fantastic. Spider-Man going on and pairing with Venom. Like, there's a lot of moments, but there's not the moment. So what the answer is, I don't know. My fear is there isn't one, and that we just need to get through it, enjoy it, and then be ready for the future.
That's such a frustrating thing that I think, and that's kind of what we've been saying this entire time, is just we have to get through it. And that's such a weird mentality to have. That's going to be the ending. The
Well, that
crux
doesn't mean I won't
of-
enjoy it though. That doesn't mean
No,
I
and
won't enjoy
I'm
it.
not saying that you're not enjoying it, but just having that mentality of, guys, we just got to get through it. We got to get through the mess so we can get to the good. Like, if that's the way that you're believing, if that's the way that your audience is feeling about this beautiful thing that you've been setting up for the last 20 years, like, that's such a bummer. That is such a bummer.
Rob Stoops, I want to address your comment. It kind of ties into what they were talking about. Will we ever see Loki again on references to Loki? And yes, thank you for that super chat. Yes, we will. He's supposed to be kind of the big final ending of Doomsday. Doctor Doom's going to try to get to Loki, and I think the Avengers are going to catch on to that and try to save Loki.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be an awesome moment.
Yeah. So I think we see him in a very big way. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the stream because I'm like super laggy now for some reason.
And he's gone. He's lagging so hard he disappeared.
You're gonna celebrate again now that I'm gone.
Is that you? Are you practicing your snaps? Is that
Yeah. I'm like hella lagging out, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I really enjoyed the conversations. So we had some good, serious conversations today, and I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for just watching if you didn't comment, and thanks for the super chats. Genuinely appreciate it. We're gonna do some more segments. Shows. I'm not sure what to call this yet. Am I just breaking up super much?
No, you're good. Your voice
somebody
is
said
great.
you were a ninja.
Oh, somebody said I was a ninja.
Yeah,
thank you, Christopher Jones. Well, I can see on our stream that I'm literally lagging. Like
you are lagging, but you sound
you're
fine.
lagging.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll totally talk about Captain America. I mean, I think Sam Wilson will lead the new Avengers team, right? And I think that there's going to be more than one new Avengers team, though, right? Because I think the Thunderbolts will be in Avengers as well.
Dark Avengers.
Yeah. Hey, Sue. 안녕하세요. Thanks for being here. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of characters are going to come in to play Doomsday Secret Wars, and I think they're going to have really good arcs. But you're right, Chris. It's not one character. I don't think they're, I think Spider-Man and Strange over everybody right now, kind of, type of thing. But there's a lot they have to do, and I really hope they nail it. I believe they can. We were talking about the Russos. Yeah, I totally think they can do it. But yeah, my internet just kind of failed for YouTube
You
here.
look perfect now. You look great. You're not lagging at all anymore.
It's clearly struggling. It's clearly struggling. It's clearly going on for some reason whatsoever. So we will.
It's clearly Marvel. You were getting too close to the real, and they had to stop your internet.
They had to stop me. Yeah, I believe that. Barton, thanks for showing up, man. You always show up. I appreciate that. Thanks, Firestar, Shannon, everybody. 66V and MB. Like, sorry, I can't name everybody, but
I do want to say one last thing before we go. We have to do another stream because we didn't talk about Daredevil at all, and there are so many things from this last episode of Daredevil that I do want to talk about, but I guess I will save it for whenever we talk about Daredevil.
Yes. Especially since you're Puerto Rican. I'm assuming.
I'm saying, come on. Una palabra.
Yeah, I mean,
so sad.
the whole thing is though, is like it premiered like 2 days ago, and I don't know if people have enough time. Yeah. Well, maybe you can join us for the watch party next Tuesday.
I probably will. I'll try to jump in. Hopefully I don't have a screening. And if so, we can talk about everything because then it'll be 7 days since. And if you haven't seen it then that's your fault.
Yeah, then you should really, you should be watching by now. Yeah. Christopher, go ahead and set it. Whoops.
Whoa.
We're going to go ahead. We're going to end it now, though, guys. We've been going for 2 hours, which I think is a record for us.
Good combo though. Very, very fun combo.
And also the Invincibles show, Jose, if you guys didn't see the finale to that, it's a good one. It's good.
Yeah.
Everybody hit the like button.
Hit the like button, and we are kind of everywhere in social media. So you can find us if you want. We'll figure out. I will figure this out one day. I figured out how to get the three of us on the screen now. I'll figure out how to put handles and stuff up.
I like it.
So yeah, we'll figure it all out. But thanks for joining us today. You can catch us next week. We'll do live on Tuesday for Daredevil. And if we all show up Tuesday, maybe that'll just be this show again. But expect to see us next week. Thanks for being here. We'll see ya. Peace.